Hello everyone, this is Himanshu Sehgal. I am once again in front of you talking about another topic, something where we are going to do a deep dive. So for this month or for this edition, we have picked up a topic of antibody-drug conjugates. As the title suggests, the next big investment in oncology. So one thing, you know, yes, the presentation, the topic is very detailed about oncology, but I want to very clearly emphasize that ADCs are not just the topic of oncology; they are gaining traction within other spaces as well. So, having said that, and without further delay on this, let me just take you to a yet another uh, highly specific deep dive on antibody drug conjugates, ADCs. So before we do that, I'll just talk about bit about Octavus. Um, Octavus, we are a boutique consulting. We are a global boutique consulting. We work in strategy consulting. Primarily, we have divided our services into three domains: and business intelligence, market research, and data analytics. Within business intelligence and business research, we do competitive intelligence, conference coverages, market sizing. Whereas talking about market research, our prime focus is on primary market research, where and actually secondary research as well, where we talk about we do a analysis on qualitative, quantitative analysis, ATUs, ATU studies, KOL interviews. We also identify KOL and do KOL mapping. We do concept testing and so on and so forth. Apart from that, our third domain is data analytics, where creating uh, Salesforce analysis, uh, Salesforce optimization, clinical analytics, creating multiple dashboards, market assessments. So those are the services what we provide. Now, today, today before I talk more into our topic, I'll also talk about why we have chosen this topic, and you'll find something different about this deliverable or this insight call. So feel free to reach us, me or Aditya. Feel free to reach us for any queries, or even if you want the presentation, we'll be happy to share that with you if you need it. Now, you know, we have developed this in Insights Corner with the aim of, dual purpose basically. One, obviously, we want to showcase our capability related to, you know, pharmaceutical or pharma companies that we have the expertise to do a deep dive into various topics, which could be a disease, which could be a modality, and so on and so forth. But we also want to showcase or share this across for organizations like venture capital, private equity, investment banks, and asset management firms that we have been working with you know companies like yours and doing analysis and deep dive on these diseases, topics, even companies as well. Now, um, and obviously ADC has been showing a lot of traction. There have been multiple approvals across this year, across last year, which were focused on ADCs related to, primarily I'm talking about FDA, but at the global level as well. Now, let's start a little from the beginning. Before I talk about ADCs, let's talk about a little bit about immuno-oncology. Right. So, immuno-oncology, also known as immuno-oncologic therapies. They boost up our immune system. These therapies work on our, these are biological entities mostly, and then they boost up our immune system and equip it with uh, you know uh, natural defenses to attack the cancerous cells basically. So right, so there are multiple approaches which are being taken in the immuno-oncology space, which is immune checkpoint inhibitors, which are mostly monoclonal antibodies. There are small molecules modulators also, right? Then we have CAR cells, I would say, not CAR cells, CAR cells, which are CAR T cells and uh, CAR NK and so on and so forth. We're also utilizing oncolytic viruses such as herpes simplex virus and a couple of other viruses to target cancerous cells. Then we are also working on various vaccines, which are RNA nano vaccines. And also we are combining multiple therapies. Like there are multiple therapies, which such as we are combining uh, monoclonal antibodies with small molecules or ADC monoclonal, and so on and so forth. Right. So this is all about immuno-oncology. Um, Okay, so in terms of, let's talk about immuno-oncology. The market size is estimated to reach $281.4 billion by 2032. So, you know, this is going to be a huge market basically. And then ADCs or antibody drug conjugates are part of this basically. Now, moving on. Now let's talk about ADCs. ADCs are targeted therapies that combine monoclonal antibodies and with the drug basically. So that's why it is called antibody and drug conjugated together, right? There are three components to it. Majorly, there are three components to it: monoclonal antibody, cytotoxic payload, and a linker. So here, if you can see on this image, here you can see, just a second. So yeah, here if you can see, this is the monoclonal antibody part, map part. There is a linker, and this is a payload basically, right? So how the mechanism work here? So is similar to ADC's mechanism is similar to disease with specific variations, right? Key steps are target binding, internalization, payload release, and cell death or cell modulation, right? So, if you talk about the development history of ADCs, so there were first generation ADCs, which were murine maps, non-cleavable linkers, right? Advantages were they were new concept at that point of time, but they had high toxicity and lack precision targeting. Now, then came the second generation. These are humanized antibodies and cleavable or stable linkers, right? And improved payloads, enhanced targeting specific selectivity, and improved safety, right? And disadvantage here is ADC aggregation, still some off-target toxicity and rapid clearances. Now there are third generation, which are some of them are already approved, um, such as site-specific conjugations, uniform DARs, basically. They are less off-target toxicity, better stability, and reduced immunogenicity, and obviously the higher efficacy. So if we talk about drug to antibody ratio has increased in this third generation, right? Okay, so now let's move and talk about the market size of ADCs. So as you know, as you can see here, in 2021, the size was just $4 billion. It was very small market, and the reason was because there were very less ADCs approved. Mostly were second generation ADCs which gotten approved at that point of time. So there was obviously the market size was very small, but now moving forward, if you see at the moment, if you talk about 2024, last year the market was approximately $13.7 billion, so which is a huge number. Within last 4 years, it is an increase of $9.7 billion increase in this market, so which is great. Now if we see by 2030, the market is going to be $60 billion, which is huge. The reason is because there are going to be ADCs which going to be approved across indications within, if we talk about only oncology, but there are beyond oncology as well. Most ADCs are used for oncology, as I've said earlier, but there are other therapy areas. The market size is at the moment low for other therapy areas, but yes, there is still a 10% market which has taken place, which has made its space basically within the ADC space basically. Now, if we just talk about the major chunk of, the major chunk of ADC market, which is oncology, it is then further divided into solid tumors and hematological malignancies. Now, if we talk about solid tumor holds approximately 71% of, the overall oncology market, and then hematology holds approximately 29%. Now, if we further trickle it down or break it down, breast cancer tops it, right, with 21.3% of all solid tumor, which is 79%, 71%. So 21% of this 71% is of breast cancer, then lung cancer, and followed by ovarian, pancreatic, and colorectal cancer, right? So this is what we wanted to talk about in terms of uh, total market share, right? Now, if we move on, we'll see. So if we further divided this into various continents, basically the market size, we see that if let's only talk about the futuristic market. So on the top, if you see, this one is a 2024 market size, and this one is 2032 market size, right? So let's just talk about 2032. So if we talk about this, then in this case, US holds 14, US market size is going to be $14.62 billion for ADCs, right? Which will be followed by $9.73 billion in Europe, followed by China is 7.1. So this is a very interesting fact about which we'll talk about in the next slides also, that China is gaining a lot of traction right now. At the moment, we're thinking about 7.1, but these numbers could change, right? Whereas Africa holds up, you know, 1.18. And actually, I'm very sorry, it's not only China, it's APAC basically. I think, yeah, it's APAC and Russia basically, which has gotten 7.1%. But again, if we talk about just APAC, then also China leads the space for APAC basically, when we talk about the market share. So obviously, the lion's share is going to be with China. Now, moving forward, let's talk about the market trends. Uh, Presently, some current and some future ones, basically. So, frontline shift, ADCs plus advanced backbone therapies, basically. ADC is showing no sign of slowing, and then it has poised for a substantial growth driven by the blockbuster drugs, basically, such as Enhertu, Trodelvy. Then ADCs are making strong strides in cancer, such as SCLC, small cell lung cancer. Then we have ovarian, pancreatic. While the interest is rising in the novel preclinical targets and engaging platforms, right? So there are various platforms which are being assessed, or are being developed, basically, right? Then if we talk about some of the key trends are advancing, uh, like particularly PD-1 and VGF, VGF bispecific. They have shown some promising data. And then obviously major pharma deals. There are having multiple major pharma deals, and we'll talk about the deals also in coming slides. Um, ADCs are advancing into frontline treatment options, such as metastatic NSCLC, breast cancer. Some new molecules or new targets like HER3 and TROP2 combinations, basically. Uh, there are biparatopic HER2s, and Fowler alpha is broadening in solid tumors, reaching uh, uh, broadening in solid tumor, basically. Buyer priorities are also shifting, right, towards innovative payloads, and payloads and linkers, basically, right? So there are companies are assessing a lot of new payloads and new linkers, right, beyond traditionals like topo 1 and MMAE. There are other linkers which are being assessed, right? Pharma deal making. So if again we talk about deals, companies are you know uh, there are a lot of big companies which are investing in ADC platforms, with innovative payload linkers, and beyond that also. There are evolving endpoints also, like MRDs, minimum residual diseases, is achieving a lot of traction among the endpoints, and improved patient outcomes as well. So patient reported outcomes, basically. So those are the key trends, or current and future trends for ADCs. So majority ones are obviously newer payloads, newer linkers, and a lot of deals are forming. So moving beyond, if we talk about, here is this a comprehensive landscape across indications we have created. This landscape is not exhaustive. So first thing which I'll tell you is this is not an exhaustive ADC landscape. Plus, it is not specific to one disease. There are We have taken examples which are maybe very recent, and then very widely spoken at the moment, or famous at the moment. So basically, we have taken those. But you can see there are phase threes. We have not taken approved ones, but there are various approved ADC molecules. Um, if you are looking for such a list, do feel free to reach out to us. We will share that list complimentary of last 2 years approval of ADCs, which indications, what companies have got. We have that. So if you need that list, feel free to mail us, and we will share along with this deck, basically. So, and now, if we talk about this present landscape at the moment, we at the moment we see most or all molecules either approved or in pipeline, are all IV. So which you can very clearly see here, right? These are IV, but there are. I want to also share that there are a couple of SC formulations which are being explored right now. Traditionally, as I was earlier also saying, traditionally ADCs have been associated with oncology, but there are ADCs which are being explored or being assessed and being developed in autoimmune diseases, primarily RASLE. Uh, and beyond that as well, infectious diseases, cardiology, even neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's and MS. If I talk about one such ADC therapy, um, something which comes to mind, this is bit older one which I've read, which I did read about, was in neurology, which was AC Immune developing a molecule using their own platform. This was a more ADC molecule. It was very early stage in neurodegenerative diseases. I think Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. At the moment, I don't have the other names. AC Immune was something which was back of my mind, so I shared that. Um, uh, Also, I also want to tell you that there are I think 15 molecules or 15 ADCs which got approved in 2024 at the global level. There are close to 400 ADCs which are under development and preclinical, under development and preclinical stage, basically, right? Globally. With Then there are 440 molecules which are in phase one, 60 440 in phase one and phase two, actually, and 60 which ADCs which are across indications in phase three, basically, right? So that's a number. Again, if you need the list of approved molecules in 2025, or sorry, 2024, and so far in 2025, just write to us, and we will share this deck plus that list with you for sure. Now, moving forward, so another thing which I want to here specify, that what how we have divided is that these are all solid tumors, which includes all sort of cancers. We just wanted to specify lung cancer. So there is a lot of work which was going on in lung cancer, specific focus to ADCs. So here are a couple of molecules, then hematological, like two, three molecules which I've covered here. Again, I want to emphasize that this is not an exhaustive list. We have the exhaustive list, so if you want, we'll be happy to work with you on that. Now, so when you are assessing any therapy area, uh, what guidelines conferences are saying, or regulatory bodies are saying, or what is being presented there, yeah, it add values, or it is very important. So hence, just to showcase that, showcase our capability in conference coverages, we've recently covered AACR and ASCO, and we wanted to share what was presented and what was majorly spoken about at AACR and ASCO this year. So at AACR, as you can see, I've written there that surgeon dual payload ADCs was one of the key important topic. There were multiple molecules, at least 50 such conjugates with dual payload were discussed. Notably, Chengdu Kang Hong TROP2 targeting molecule, which was KH815, is beginning its phase one trial, and it makes it a first dual ADC tested in human. So, Western Biotech presenting, including Acid Podia and Sutro and Araris. So there were, US or European based companies also, smaller companies like Sutro and Araris, which I know about. They are they have presented there. Some have presented maybe their trial design or their you know their preclinical results and so on and so forth. Now, ADC presentations keep there were as I was saying, just key preclinical investigations about novel uh, exatecan based antibody drug conjugates, Claude 6 ADCs such as ADCT 242. I think ADCT is ADC therapeutics molecule. Then PSMA targeted ADC, which is ADCT again 241, which I believe again is ATC therapeutics. Again, I could be wrong as well. They are advancing in prostate cancer basically. Then we have ASCT2 targeted ADC, which is a novel target for solid tumor and hematological cancers. So AACR covered 311 key ADC abstracts, which 35 out of which 35 were clinical and 263 were preclinical, showing this is very important. The reason is, so firstly, ACR is always, not I would say always, but ACR is very famous for early stage assets and early stage presentations. And that is what it is shown here, that 263 preclinical assets were discussed or shown at this conference. Right. Now, moving on, if I talk about ASCO, so ASCO ASCO 2025 featured multiple sessions, multiple sessions which were about breast cancer, gastric cancer, lung cancer, and genitourinary urinary cancer, which includes prostate cancer, basically. Um, these are not to miss basically. So that means there was a substantial presence. So GU cancers again, advanced and there were a lot of advances in bladder cancer. Again, some another noteworthy indication was NSCLC, which we have even discussed in our landscape also separately, that lung cancer ADCs and which makes sense. Lung cancer is predominantly one of the biggest oncology or biggest tumor basically in terms of market size also. So I feel that there's a lot of research which is going on, and a lot of companies are assessing their molecules there. Now we wanted to discuss about this one specific. Again, there's no promotion. Just we picked up a random a good result basically. Zinglongta, which is ADC therapeutics molecule, right? Plus glofitamab in DLBCL. So in Lotus 7, which is a phase 1 trial, overall response rate is 93.3 and CR is 86.7. In total population was in 30 evaluable patient basically, right? So the company is expanding this trial to 100 R by R patients basically. It's a phase 1 study, so which shows that these are promising results, and company wants to expand more, and maybe they might plan to go for some sort of a designation also, and that's why they are focusing or increasing patient in the phase 1B stage basically. The combination was very well tolerated, and among majority of the responders. Then there is a pivotal phase 3 study in DLBCL where progression-free survival will come out in late 2025, and then they probably would file in 2026. So again, as I was just saying, these are some promising results. Obviously, there's a new filing in the works, basically. Now, if you move on from the conferences, uh, let's see where ADCs are going, basically, right? So we have tried to So yes, there were market trends. Those were like current and future trends basically, which will current trends which will shape the future. But these are emerging directions. So these are there here are some spaces which are probably very early stage and yeah. So first is market trends, approved molecules expansion. Market size is rapidly increasing. We have already spoken about that. Now, novel therapeutic strategies are being discussed, which is pan-cancer ADCs. An ADC which could work for any cancer. Bispecific ADCs, again, in the books. We have just spoken about that. And even tri-specific ADCs. So these are very early stages, probably at the university or academia stage. But yes, tri-specific ADCs are also there. Then there are technologies being used to assess ADCs, like AI-driven or AI-driven identification in ADCs, nanoparticle-enabled ADC systems being developed. There is a lot of precision. So ADC is kind of making is being synonymous or maybe I wouldn't say synonymous, but it is probably the first stage of molecule which has initiated the personalization of therapy, right? So precision and personalized medicines, like precision diagnostic and better patient selection has become is becoming very important in ADCs, right? Then yeah, then expansion. Sorry, within the personalization, biomarker strategies are explored at a length in terms of ADCs. You any phase three or late stage ADC, there is definitely another study or same study maybe which is assessing biomarkers and biomarker patients segments basically for ADCs. So yeah, that is also being assessed. Then we have combination therapies, which I've already spoken about. Um, Again, expansion of ADCs beyond oncology. This is something which we have spoken at a great length, so I'll not cover that now. Then there are next generation ADCs, who companies are working on improving the linkers and payloads, dual drug, multi-specific, so tri-specific, bi-specific, which we have already spoken. So next generation of ADCs is definitely down the line. Now, why would someone spend in ADCs? So here's my team and us, Octavus team. We have created a SWOT analysis of such, where we are talking about what are the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats within the ADC space. This is self-explanatory. Basically, I don't have too much talk about. I'll just talk about bit more about the strength. Um, um, they deliver potent, delivers potent cancer drug directly to the tumor. So basically, they are precision medicines. They are moving beyond blood cancers to tackle hard to treat solid tumors. They are being adaptive, so they can be used with other immunotherapies, long-term outcomes, improve long-term outcomes. Then threats as tumors are can adapt to ADC, making them less effective over time. So this is actually generic for this is generic. This is for probably for any treatment. Right. Second important thing is threat is it's that ADCs are very expensive at the moment. Mm, the reason is also because it's a new technology. As we go beyond, I think this threat might diminish in some time, because I feel that when more and more companies are developing it, and we will have better manufacturing facilities, and now even CDMOs are jumping into to produce these ADCs. So definitely that would make it lesser expensive for sure. But yes, one threat which is the biggest threat for ADC market is newer immunotherapies. Though I do not feel that it's a very big threat. The reason is because at the moment ADCs have shown their potency, and they are well tolerated in compared to upcoming other immunotherapies such as CAR Ts, basically CAR Ts, CAR NKs, or such sort of other immunotherapies. So, especially when I talk about solid tumors, hematology probably at par, in terms of safety, but in terms of efficacy, sorry, but if we talk about solid tumors, then CAR T still have long way to go. Until the time, ADCs can definitely dominate and capture the market. Now, so this is an interesting part. What our team did was we tried to look into the deals. We have just looked into last 4 5 years only, but again we have that deal data, and we can work with any company to provide those and details. Um, so between 2022 to 2025, if we see 2022, 47 deals. 23, we had 62 deals. Then 24, we had 57 deals, which is okay because last year there was a dip in the market. A lot of companies faced a lot of issues. There were a lot of movements, restructuring, and so on and so forth. The industry was shifting altogether, basically, right? So compared to 62 and 57, it's pretty much equal, I would say. And obviously, this was an effect of post COVID detox also, right? So yeah. But this year, so far, I think we have collected the data till 31st of August. So far, we had some 46 deals. So there is, um, you know, I would say 5 6 months or 4 5 months yet to go, and then there will definitely be a lot of deals in making within the ADC space in 2025 for sure. Companies are improving their pipelines. I already told you that 15 plus FDA approved ADCs so far. And then, yeah, so innovation and payload, and then this is broad oncology application. So these are the reasons why these numbers are increasing, right? So there is always a growing trajectory over in the ADC space. Now, if we look in the bottom, in the second graph, if we talk about, so here, right. So if we see this, these are the deal types basically within the ADC. So this is again we have summed up all the deals which were there from 2022 to 2025, all the deals, and then we have tried to see which at what stages or what deal type has been done. So very evidently, it has seen the development and commercializing licensing deals. If you see this, you know, 98% deals are right now development and commercializing deals. So, companies are buying molecules at the development stage, right? Then, if the second thing, which second biggest is the contract services. So contract services mostly about getting into manufacture. So I was just telling you that there are a lot of CDMOs basically who are willing to develop uh, they're open to developing these ATCs. So obviously because of that also cost will go down. One big name which comes out is no, two big names which comes out from this is Lonza and Wuxi Biologics. They handle the regulatory compliances, product delivery, and so on and so forth, right? Um, from the data, if we see, and again, this issue is not visible here, uh, companies are preferring ADCs which are late stage, right? Licensing is one aspect that rather than acquiring, they are licensing. Plus, another aspect is that um, and there the reason is because for licensing, the reason is that these companies have already developed these molecules. The originator company I'm talking about, they have already developed this molecule, so they want to have a long term benefit out of it, basically, right? So hence, but yes, there are early stage R&D deals also, and then obviously acquisitions is taking up traction. So, so this is a very these numbers speak volume about how the industry, pharma industry in terms of ADC is evolving, and how we are, you know, uh, adjusting to it basically. Now, moving on, here is another, um, you know, an analysis on a number of in terms of deals basically. Here, we have tried to see that, which companies have done how many deals. So, firstly, I want to say that there are 90 plus companies who have done one deal each, basically. So we have not mentioned that because it would have been way too much on one slide. So we have concentrated our focus on two plus kind of companies, right? Um, so one of the top ones is Ligand Chem Biosciences. If I'm not wrong, it's either a Chinese or a Korean company probably. I think it's a Chinese company. Then Merck has done so. Merck and Co has invested a lot. Then second in line is, if I talk about, Eli Lilly is dominating this landscape. They are trying to, so Eli Lilly, Merck, these companies are AbbVie are doubling down a lot on ADCs. Companies are creating diverse portfolio, assets, platforms, early access. Uh, that's the strategy. Like, then there are specialty players basically, which who are developing unique ADCs basically, which we were talking about, like newer payloads, newer technologies, a using of AI in ADCs. So this is the number. Now, as I was earlier saying, that if you see, these are so this was created from the buyer's perspective, right? This is a buyer's perspective, but this is a seller's perspective. So when I talk about seller's perspective, it means that all the deals which have happened in 20 between 2022 to 25, licensors, sellers, what were they originated of, where they originated from. So obviously we see a big trend, a big number in US, which is 69. But catching up to that is China. Very interesting fact, which you can see it here, is China and South Korea. So hence, I was just saying that this Ligand Biochem company, you can see that Asia is becoming, and primarily China and Korea are becoming the innovators who are developing these unique ADCs and unique technologies, and they are selling it to the West basically. That's a trend which is coming out very evidently. I was in AACR and ASCO, and they're also, I think, four out of five presentations or three out of 10 four out of 10 presentations, three or four out of 10 presentations were from Chinese original companies who have either opened up some sort of office in US, or they are licensing it to a US based company, or to a European based company who is selling it in US, or to the West basically. So uh, yeah, so China is aggressively following the buyer's behavior. South Korea is investing a lot. Now, if we talk about Europe, the numbers, Europe as countries, probably the numbers might not, individual countries, the number might not be bigger. But if you see that, Netherlands, Switzerland, UK is a Brexit, but still, let's call it a Europe. If you see that these like five top European countries are next in line, and if you combine all of them, it is if you talk about whole Europe as such, the number obviously goes beyond South Korea for sure, definitely. But again, they are behind China for sure. And even as a block, as a combined block, they are behind China. So this shows how aggressively China is following the innovation in terms of ADCs. Now moving on, right? So we also to see the trends in ADC. We also did not only look into the funding. Did not only look into the deals. We also try to look into the fundings basically, right? So if you see, there is a huge funding from 2023 to 2025. This was huge numbers actually, so that's why we did not include 4 years. We just focused on 3 years basically, 23, 24, and 25 so far, right? So if you see, there are so many worth 956 SPOs. If we talk about IPOs, the companies who have done IPOs were two companies worth $245 million basically. So that's a huge number in terms of IPO, right? A pipe, nine companies, $945 million, huge numbers, right? Seed, we have in seed fundings in Series A, B, C. You can see the numbers are beyond thinking. Like Series B, only six companies, and $822 million are being funded basically. So there is a strong funding uh, uh, structure which is coming up. People are believing in ADCs. Companies are venture caps, private equities, and so on and so forth. Even individual players, individual investors, basically are funding these companies, ADC developers, basically. And these ADCs developers are across markets. We have not looked into uh, which specific origin of country they are from, but yeah. Now at at what stage of development we have tried to see that clinical stage of development, and again, very astonishing numbers. See, $1.2 billion approximately. Eight companies who have gotten approved molecules, they have, if they have done some sort of funding rounds, which could be IPO or anything like that, then in that case, you can very clearly see that eight companies have generated a funding of approximately $1.2 billion, basically. Right. So this is a huge number. It is it shows scientific validation. It shows commercial potential. It shows investors' appetite to invest in these companies. Right. Moving on. So this is like innovator companies. I'm sorry about that. That my dog is with me. So yeah, geographical distribution. I'll not do a deep dive on this, but yeah, and the trend is again. very evidently shown here. Um, 48 US companies, 20 Chinese companies, China-based companies. Obviously, if you combine the whole block as Europe, then yes, it is more than China. But again, if we combine the whole of Asia, then yeah, it is comparative basically. So huge numbers, which shows that ADCs are not just US specific. ADCs is not something which is being developed in US and will come to Asia or any other country maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line. They are there already, right? So before I move forward, the idea was that, um, yeah. So far, we have covered, about the trends in ADC, what kind of landscape it looks like, who are the major players, sorry, countries basically, right? Trends, what is being presented at ASCO and conferences like AACR and ASCO. ESMO is down the line basically. So, right. Now, in next few slides, and then again, those will be like 2 3 slides only. In next few slides, we have tried to profile and show a deep dive on each company, right? um, we have taken example of one company, one product, and so we have created one profile, but just to show what kind of in-depth analysis we can do basically. So here's the company profile of NextCure, right? So NextCure was founded in 2015, which very clearly coincides with our timeline, right? They ADCs is not, which shows that ADCs are not old. They are they're public listed. Their IPO was in 2019, right? With Nasdaq. Then their founder. They are using the technology called Find IO, which is functional integrated next cure discovery in immuno-oncology. Right. They're based out of Betsville. Then ADC pipeline, if we talk about, this is a very early stage kind of company. So ADC pipeline includes LNC B74, LNC B74, which is a phase one. It is B7H4 ADC, presently being developed in breast cancer, ovarian, and endometrial. So, which is basically gynecological cancers, right? Then they also have SIM 0505, again phase one, CDH6, right? And it's an ovarian, lung, and renal cancer drug. They have pipeline molecules also, right? This is NC410, fusion protein, phase 1 by 2, NT LAIR2, right? NC605, which is a monoclonal antibody, I believe. Right. And yeah. See, so these partner molecules are actually monoclonal antibody. But yeah, because we were doing the company profile here. So, and this is the team. So this is like a company profile basically. Right. And if we move on to the next slide, this is a product profile, which is a bit more deep dived, a bit more comprehensive if I talk about. So, disitamab and vedotin, Pfizer molecule. I think they are developing. Uh, this is a Remagen molecule basically, which has the development rights for with Pfizer outside China. Basically, I think Remagen has China rights, China, Hong Kong, Macau rights, whereas Pfizer has the global rights, right? It targets HER2 expressing cancers, right? In terms of efficacy, you can see that China, they have conducted a RC46C005 trial, right? And the efficacy is shown here, where they have they have ORR, which is 51.2%. 51.2%. I'm sorry about that. Right? And complete response and PR, and other response overall. Sorry, I've lost a little touch. So yeah, you can see that, right? And they're using a humanized map. There is an MCVC linker, and they have an old MMAE payload basically at the moment, right? Safety in 107 patients, uh, which is shown here, right? And there are ongoing trials. So in terms of designations and approvals, they have received conditional marketing approval from NMPA in 2021 in gastric cancer, and another marketing approval for in December 2021 for urothelial. They have received priority review in 2020 and 2021 in gastric and urothelial. Received US FDA BTD for in 2022 and FTD in 2021 for urothelial. There are five ongoing trials right now, right? Phase two trial. I think it's a US trial basically, or a global trial. Then a phase three trial, which is again urothelial carcinoma, and there are one more phase two and two phase 1B by two trials, breast cancer and gastrointestinal cancers, right? So moving on. So this is a kind of a last slide basically here, where we are talking about KOL profiling. So which KOL to pick and work with probably. Here's a very small summarized profile. Dr. Bernstein, Bernstein. She works as the investigational cancer therapeutic at University of, chair of investigational cancer therapeutics at University of Texas. MD Anderson, basically. Again, MD Anderson has been the pioneer in the cancer therapy space, right? So now, if you talk about as a member, um, she is principal investigator in clinical trials at 25, right? So investigator and principal investigator. Then she is editorial board member. ठीक है बैठे yeah so and then professional membership. She is and hospital affiliation. So she has affiliation with MD Anderson, right? And in terms of hospital. So apart from her affiliation, she has other relationships with the AAA DV, right? ASCO, ACS, American College of Surgeons, basically. She is part of 29 trials. And she has gotten awards, 31 years of experience, 32 conferences, and she has published. So on her name, there are 677 publications, right? Some of the recent ones we have jotted out here. One review letter, which is about TROP2, two clinical trials. Again, I think one is related to, again, TROP2, yes, datopotamab in NSCLC, and another one is Pfizer's, basically, anti-HER2 ADC, basically, in solid tumors, which is phase one. So we have recent publications. We have, and then again, in terms of clinical trial, you can see she's part of phase two trial for nivolumab, and so on and so forth, basically. So you can see that here, right? So This is a patient advocacy, sorry, a KOL profile. Um, we did also create a patient advocacy group profile also who works into ADCs, but we have not included it. There were too much of slides, and it's already a lot of time which we have taken, right? So yeah. Now, so if it's a final call, basically, if you are a pharma company who wants to do competitive analysis, primary market research, data analytics, or work with us in terms of go-to-market strategy, uh, asset prioritization, uh, understanding, you know, if you are open to investing in ADC, basically, which could be a pharma company or which could be investment bank, private equity, and so on and so forth, feel free to reach me or Aditya, right on our, signed email addresses, or you can reach out to us at our generic email address, which is at the rate BD Octavus Consulting. We'll be very happy to answer any questions. You can, if you're not interested in any services, you just want these slides, feel free to reach us at again BD at the rate Octopus Consulting with the subject line ADC 2025, and we'll be happy to share these slides with you, and obviously the FDA approval data and yeah. So yeah. And for other data points, if you are looking for them, yeah. So you can reach out to us. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed what we are sure what we have shared, and we have received some very encouraging feedbacks and responses in last few of our other uh, inside corners. So we'll try to come up with more new topics. Feel free to drop a message on my LinkedIn or on the comments that if there is any topic where you want us to do a deep dive. Thank you. Bye bye.